Hi and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to count in hexadecimal and how to add hexadecimal numbers together. So in order to count in hexadecimal, you can start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So far it is like decimal. But then after this we have 9, and after that if it was decimal, you will have a 1 0, which is a 10, so that means you start counting again from 1 0, 1 1, which is 10, 11, and so on. But since we are counting from in hexadecimal, that means a 16 base number, we can't just go until 9 and then start over again. So what we do is we count till 9, and then after that, instead of putting 10, we put A, because 10 is 2 digits and we need 1 digits because we are still counting until we get to 16 and then go back and start from the beginning. So then this is going to be A, and then B, which is 11, and C, which is 12, and D, which is 13, E, which is 14, and F, which is 15. And then if we start from 0 to F, those are 16 places for numbers. So I'm just going to change color and start this here. So this is what we count until F, and then after that we have 1 0. Be careful, this is not 10, this is not decimal, this is base 16, so this is 10. Just going to put hex here so we will know that we are counting in hexadecimal. So I have 10 base 16, but it's actually not 10. If you want to take the value in decimal, the value of this is actually 16. And then I have 11, but in decimal it is actually 17. I'm sorry, you're not going to read it as 11, we're going to read it as 1 1. And then 1 2, which is 18 in decimal, but it is 1 2 in hexadecimal. So this is how you count, and then you go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we reached at 19, but we are actually at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we are actually at 25, but we are at 1 9 in hexadecimal. 25 in decimal and 1 9 in hexadecimal. So what happens after this? Again, after this, we don't go to 2 0 because we have to count all the way until we finish 16 digits. So after 19, we will get to, after 19, we will get to 1A, which is going to be 26, and then 1B, which is going to be 27, and so on. 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, and then you will go to 2 0. So this is 20, but actually the value of it is not 20. So we can count like this, and we can and I have another video which shows how to convert from decimal to hexadecimal, or from each number system to another number system. If you want to check that out, you can go and check it out. But for here, we're just going to count, and we're just going to add hexadecimal numbers together. So this is very important to know, that when we see 20 in hexadecimal number, the value of it in decimal is not 20. The value of it is different. So we can actually count to see what is the value of it: 29, 30, 31, 32. So if I'm not mistaken here, the value of 20 in hexadecimal, it's actually 32 in decimal. So be careful about that. And now we're going to learn how we can add two a hexadecimal number together. I'm just going to open another Windows here and change the color. So I have two hexadecimal numbers here. I have to leave enough space between them since we want to understand what each number value is. So I have one E and D 9 2, and I'm going to add this to 1 C 2, for example 8. Okay, this is good. So I want to add these two numbers together. Now let's see how it works. So 2 and 1, it's very straightforward. This is still like decimal number, and both of them are base 16. So 2 and 1 is just going to be 3. That's not a problem. And now we're reaching to 9 and C. Let's first put the values of each one of those numbers, each one of those letters here. So if we have A, that means it's a 10. If we have B, that means it's an 11. C is 12. E is 13. ABC, oops, sorry. This is D, which is 13. And then E, which is 14. And F, which is 15. So these are the values. So right now we have C. I'm going to write 9 here added to a C, which is actually a 12. So if I add these two numbers here, it's going to give me 9 and 2 is 11. And then 1 and 1 is 2. So I have a 21 here. So what happened is, this 21 is not actually a 21 in decimal. In order to get it in hexadecimal, sorry, this 21 is actually in decimal. And we are not adding decimals together. We are adding hexadecimals together. Because I convert this C to the decimal value of it, which is 12, and I add it to 9, and it gave me 21, which is in decimal. Now I want to transfer it to hexadecimal. In order to do that, you have to take 16 off of this. So minus 16. Because whenever we reach 16, then we have a carryover of 1. So right now here, this will become 1. This is 11. And then 11 to minus 6 is 5. 1 to 1 is 0. So we have a carryover of 1 because we have 1 base 16 here. So we will put the 1 carryover here, and then we put 5 here. So this is how we add hexadecimal together. Again here, the decimal value of D is 13. We are adding a 1 to it because it's in carryover from here, and we are adding another 1 to it, and it will give us 3, 4, 5, and it will give us 15. Well, this is less than 16. Since it is less than 16, it has to be only one digit, because all of it is going to be instead of these digits, and it has to be only one digit. So 15 is equal to F. That means we have an F here. Another way of counting this is just to know you have to go 3 places forward from D. So that means you have D, and then you have E, and then you have F. And look at this, I made a mistake here. So it is actually 2. So we have to start this over. So this is D plus 2 plus 1. It wasn't 1, 1. So D plus 2, it's, first of all, the value of D is 13. So instead of this, I can put 13. So 13 plus 2 will give me 15, plus 1 will give me 16. Now look at this. I have one full value. So that means if I take a 16 out of this, this will give me 0. So I have one carryover since I have 116 base, and this carryover goes here, and I have 0 here. So that means I will put the 0, and I have one carryover. If I want to add these two together, I have 1, E, and 8 adding together. So this can be written as 1, and then instead of E, I can put 14, and I have an 8 here. So 1 and 4 will give me a 5, and if I add it to 8, it will give me a 13. So 1 and 1 is 2. I have 23, but this 23 is in decimal, and I need to get it in binary. So that means 23 minus 16 will give me, so this is 1, this is 13, and then 6 minus 13 will give me 7, 1 minus 1 is 0. I have one carryover of 16 which goes here, and 7 comes here. 1 and 1 is 2. So as you can see, I have 27053, and this is the value that I get from adding these two together. Now let's just check it in our programmable calculator, just to make sure what we calculated was actually correct. So right now I have the scientific calculator on. If I want to change it to programmable, I can click on these 3 lines, and I can go to a programmer. So now I want to add in hexadecimal. When I click on hex, it will show me these A, B, C, D, E, F, which are the other numbers that you can count on, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So what I have here is 1, E, D, 9, 2, plus 8, 2, C, 1. Let's see. So it gives me 27053, which is correct. So that means that our method actually works, and it's a right method. Now let's try another number. I want something to have some letters coming for the answer too, so we'll see how that works. I'm just going to change color. So I'm going to add 2 V F 5 A plus 2 C 2 1 8. Now let's add these two numbers together. Just gonna change the color to a better one. Okay, now let's have our guide here. So A is 10, B is 11, C is 12, A, B, C, D is 13, E is 14, and F is 15. Okay. The first thing that we have here is A, which is 10, and we are going to add 2 to it. So A, 10, is going to be 11, it's going to be 12. So for 12, we have C. So here, we're putting a C for the answer. These are all base 16. And then the other one is 5 plus C. We're going to go out of this, so we have to write it down here to make sure we're doing it right. And then C is 12. So adding 5 and 2 will give me 17. So that means I have a base in it, which is 16. So I have to take that 16 out. So it will give me 1, 0. I took one base 16 out, so I have to add one number to the next. So that means here I have a carryover of 1. I have a carryover of 1, and my answer, my remainder is 1. So I will add 1 to F, and our F is 15, plus I have a 1 and a 2. So it will give me 2 and 1, 3, 5, 8, 18. We're taking one base out of it, so I have one of these here, and this is 2 and 0. So I have a 2 here, and I have 1 carryover. Then here I have 1B1. So right now I can just add 2 to B, so that means instead of B I'm going to the D. Here I'm just going to put D. And then I have 2 and 8, which gives me a 10, and 10 is actually an A. So AD21C, it's going to be my value in hexadecimal number. I'm going to check it again. So clear, and again hexadecimal. So I have 2 B F 5 A plus 8 1 2 C 2. So this will give me AD21C. So that means the way that we calculated this was correct. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in next video. Bye.